Growing up as a child in a war-torn country, in an developing country is not easy, especially when you do not live in the capital, but in a province which has more of the challenges that it has to face to reach the development, to provide that safe environment for everyone to live. So there are a lot of human rights violations and a lot of challenges for individuals, particularly a child, to thrive in that society. So I didn't find it easy growing up, to be honest. Especially after losing my father, what is very essential in my hometown in Kandahar, because of the very male-dominated society where the family, the female, rely on the man. So losing my father literally meant losing the protection that I had and all the privileges that I might have had if he was alive. So that was the moment when my childhood was robbed from me. So I had to become this responsible child, responsible for the family, thinking about how I could sponsor my family, financially help them, and help my family to rise from the situation, the difficulties of not having a father, a breadwinner anymore, or a supporter who could protect us from any kind of harm that society that had put us in. So starting from how I was put out into the society, in the neighborhood, the challenges that we as a family, how I was a girl and we did not have brothers, older brothers, but more of a sisters who had to come out, go to school, go to courses, and go to work. The challenges that it caused us in our neighborhood, and then the unsafety I felt in school, how unsafe the schools were, the abuses that a child has to face by their own teachers, or simply the school staff, or also in the job environments. Even if it's safe like an organization, while a lot of children in Afghanistan, they do bigging and all kind of jobs that makes it more, put them in so much dangers and so much violations of their rights, basic rights. So I was not alone. I mean, the story of struggling, thriving from that kind of a childhood in such environment it's not only me, but every Afghan, every child who goes through even worse of these scenarios. I was 11 when my father passed away, and it took me 2 years to prepare to financially support my family. So exactly when I was 13, I became an English trainer. So I started my job there. And I have 7 siblings who I am supporting right now. I mean, that was when I started, and I'm now 21 years old. Yeah. Well, I always had that thirst for education, even when I was a child, because my mother, who was a victim of the system of, actually, she was barred from education because of the Taliban's the term before. So she had that understanding and acknowledgement of what she was banned and barred from. So she would always remind us of the importance of education. So I think some inspiration from that, but also I thought that education was the only way to my empowerment. And I really wanted to know more, to learn more. And besides that personal interest and passion for learning a lot, throughout the school and also this one course that I was going to, that was a great platform for me to really educate myself with all the skills, with all the knowledges that I really needed to change my life, my family's life, and also to educate myself on how I could protect myself, because there was so much going on in my life, and I thought that I couldn't rely on anyone to tell me how I could do things, how I could help myself to get empowered and to be that able Zakira. So I relied on books, on these courses, on school, and I would study it so meticulously so that the education could empower me. Yeah. Exactly. When I was 16, that was when I got the scholarship to study at AUF, American University of Afghanistan. So it was a big dream for me, actually a dream that I couldn't even thought of. I couldn't dare to dream about it because it was such a big achievement for me. An orphan with so much little resources and with having no support, and I got I got into the best university that there was in Afghanistan. So as soon as I learned that I got into AUF, I knew that I was doing it. I almost forgot that there would be so many challenges in my own society, in my neighborhood, and in my own relatives that would accept me moving to another city, which was miles away from my hometown, all on my own, and I was only 16. But I think that I was so ready by then to already accept those challenges and difficulties. But my mother, she was very supportive of me. I remember our neighbors, they were not very happy, and they would tell my mother about stopping me because that was an American university, a girl who is very young, if she's prone to all those ideologies and all those progresses. Well, for them, they don't put it in that term, but saying more that it's not good for her to go because it's not safe for her. I think there are a lot of misconceptions how the society will hold you back from all the progresses, especially living on your own. That caused my mother, my family to totally separate from this society and be on their own because they were not liked by the society anymore, because she supported me and allowed me to go and to pursue my education at AUF. And even when I moved to Kabul, after the incident that happened, the attack on my school, it even made it worse because that was when their words, my relatives' fear of something happening to me, because there were already security threats to my school before I joining the school. And also the friends and relatives I knew in Kandahar from my work and how they were engaged in my life. Their thoughts and beliefs, their very conserved thoughts and beliefs actually made it even difficult for me to continue my education. So I remember all those struggles of dealing with so much negative energy, so much taboos and cultural norms that hold me back. But I thrived and I made it out, and I'm so happy that I had my mother's support and that I could do it. I think that was the first experience, like the direct experience of seeing war and experiencing every bit of it. While I had lived before 2016, the year that the attack happened, I had experienced how the war constructs a society and the structural violence it puts into the society. But that was the moment that when the attack happened, like the firing, the explosion, the fire, and the fear that I witnessed all around me. The reason, I mean, that moment when I wanted to help myself to survive, because of the goals and dreams that I had, because of my family who relied on me, on my support, and a mother who supported me despite all the challenges. That was when I realized that, I mean, I could tell the difference of what it means to live in a country who was like in the midst of war. So I think that was the start of my work toward conflict resolution, which became after that attack. I changed my major from law to political science, mainly focused on peace and conflict resolution and transitional justice. Right now, it's a turning point for Afghanistan. After everything that we lost, a state that failed, all the reforms that we worked so hard, every individual, every youth, every child, thriving through those difficulties and making it, arriving at this point where they felt the ability to change and bring change in the community and whatever they were doing. The activists, the advocates, everybody was the advocate for change before the collapse of the government. So after losing all that, losing hopes and in the country, on our government who literally gave up on us and gave the country, gave up the country and didn't protect us and defend us. It's a turning point because there are a lot of mistakes that we are reflecting on right now in the peace-building mission, the 20 years peace-building missions, what went wrong, what was not focused on, which was, of course, the grassroots of the problem in Afghanistan, which was the very divided structures, the divisions within ethnicities, within the religion into religious sects, and also the dysfunctional government, which was also as a result of how individualists they were and more directed to serve their own interests of tribe or ethnicity or religion, and also their selfishness and not doing their duty well enough to protect the nation, a warrior nation. A nation, that each one of us were the heroes that we were building that country. So right now, as part of Afghanistan Unites, I see that I have that opportunity, although it's very soon for me to start. It's just 2 months while I started work and just 1 month ago. This opportunity of helping Afghans back there at home in Afghanistan who does not have anyone to rely on, any support, any belief in them, because Afghans have changed and the youth there cannot tolerate the violations, the human rights violation, the suppressions, and the restrictions that are put on them. Especially the progressive youth who have been well educated in the past 20 years. Or simply our kids who are thriving right now in in an even more worse environment, considering the realities in the ground. So it's a key moment for us to see how we can support them, the opportunities that we could provide for them to help them rise, to help them rely on us, because we are the abled ones. We are the ones who can help them in any ways possible. At least to give them that hope that that they can soon change the future for themselves. I would like to insist on one point, that 20 years for a country like Afghanistan, starting from a point of zero to so much progresses that's not possible in a lot of developing countries. Expecting them to reach at like absolute peace in 20 years is not enough. What I want the international community to realize is that we had changed a lot. And by that, I mean that each one of us, it was not only the international community or the governments or the structures that were put out there to help us. It was the willingness of the people who really wanted the change, who really worked for the change. They stood beside you in the goals and missions that you have had for the development of the country, because they believed in their country, they believed in their ability to change it. And I want them to, the international community and everyone to look into individual stories, to look at the reforms that each individual have brought, despite all these very structural violence that they were also experiencing, what should stop them from going forward, but they have not stopped. Look at our parliament, look at our political systems. I mean, the role of women, I know there were challenges for them, but the fact that we have 27% of our women in parliament in just 20 years in a country like Afghanistan, I mean, just in 20 years, that's a lot of progress. Look at how strong, how loud the women movements have been. Look at the recent examples of the empowerment of women. All these protests that were led by women, the civilian protests, that then was joined by men and the whole nation as a whole, I mean, in every provinces. That should be an example that could help you understand the progresses that they had made. And when they relied so much on you, they wanted you to thrive, to do better. That was when you left. And right now, because of the suppressions, because they cannot say a lot, because they're not heard, and because they do not have a voice because of everything happening, you have also given up on Afghanistan. And I can't tolerate that. And all the focus is on evacuation, which I give it all the right now, because no one is safe in Afghanistan. But the reality, the dark reality of where we are leading to, if you remain to be silent, to be ignorant about how Afghanistan has changed and how it really needs your support right now, because the reforms, the progresses that we have made, it really needs to preserve, and those youth wants to preserve it, but they need help. They need to rely on someone.